Hey, good morning, everyone. Glenn Kellaway from the basement. Brand new year. Time to reveal my top 24 albums that were released in 1974, meaning they're celebrating their 50th birthday this year. Um, how did I arrive at these 24? I'm sure I missed 124. It was a great year for music. I'm sure there's some of your favorites that aren't on my list, but they're not my favorites. So the albums at the bottom of the list are more albums that I love and don't get as much play as they used to. Then it kind of gradually goes up to something that's been endured for years and years and years and years and still gets played and whatever. So let's start with number 24. Dickie Betts and the Allman Brothers, one of my favorite guitar players. I just love. He's so fluid and just such a beautiful tone and great guitar player. He released a solo album in 1974. Um, More country-ish, I guess. It's called Highway Call. Um, I fell in love with this album mostly because of one song that was on this album called uh, Handpicked. Handpicked. Now, my friends, so I got some friends out there that aren't going to like this because the song's about 10 minutes long, instrumental, but it's just a great jammy thing, and it's with a nice, just a cool little melody. It just kind of flows along. Really nice song. Dickie Betts, the great Vassar Clements plays on it, and and Jeff Hanna plays on it from Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. But anyway, Highway Call. Richard Betts, as he calls himself on here, on the Capricorn label, like most Allman Brothers albums were. Number 23, 1974 was really the high point of the Southern rock craze. That was like really coming in. Top 40 radio was starting to suck big time. Disco was just kind of around, and like I think like wasn't when did like Saturday Night Fever and I think the Bee Gees main course and all that really just for me I hated that music, and I gravitated to Southern rock right away. One of my favorite bands was the Charlie Daniels Band, and my favorite Charlie Daniels album was Fire on the Mountain. It's got the South's Gonna Do It. What a great song. Uh, Cayabo, Diablo, Long Haired Country Boy, which kind of everybody knows. And yeah, this was a great freaking record. These guys rocked hard. I saw these guys at the Elma Combo, believe it or not, in Toronto. Like, and Tommy Crane, the second guitar player, him and Charlie would just wail on those guitars. I mean, they were a freaking great band. I must have saw them live maybe three, four times. Amazing, amazing. Charlie kind of went downhill after a while, but when he had that original CBD band together, they freaking rocked. Another favorite of mine was the Marshall Tucker Band, and they released an album called Where We All Belong in 1974. This is a double album again on Capricorn Records. This is a scorching freaking blues album, believe it or not. There's the Marshall Tucker type songs with a bit of a jazzy flute and stuff like that in them, or which they incorporated into their country stuff or country rock stuff, I guess, or southern rock. But they are they play a couple of like scorching frickin' blues songs on this album. Every Day I Have the Blues, and what was the other track on here? There's a beautiful song called In My Own Way here on this album. Great record if you ever find this thing. 24 Hours at a Time, Ramblin', another blues song. Yeah, friggin' excellent album. Great guitar album. Okay, that's 24, 23, 22, 21. The Eagles. Big Eagles fan back then. Desperado album I love. The follow-up to Desperado, On the Border. Probably the second best Eagles album in my opinion. It's got Already Gone on it. It's got that great banjo track, Midnight Flyer on it. What else is on this thing? Well, the song On the Border is a great track. The Tom Waits cover, Old 55. That was my introduction to Tom Waits. And Best of My Love, which was a hit. That's kind of a syrupy thing. 20. I didn't know these guys at the time, but I've come to freaking love this album. And Big Star. Radio City. Came out in 1974. What a great freaking album this is. Great power pop. This is the reissue, all analog reissue. Number 19, I think it was. This is a big year for Bob Dylan. I mean, he'd moved over to Geffen Records and they released a studio album, which is going to come up in this ranking. Then they went on tour, and an album called Before the Flood came out from the tour. Great frickin' album. I really like to get this on vinyl. I saw somebody show the MoFi of this the other day. Maybe it was my buddy Steve. That would be nice to have. Before the Flood. Great. The band and Dylan on tour. Here's what I remember about that. This was a tour where you couldn't line up and just buy tickets. In those days, Ticketmaster didn't exist. You had to go to the venue, line up when tickets went on sale. This one, they tried something different. They did a lottery. You had to actually mail in a stamped, self-addressed envelope or whatever it was like that. And then if they picked your name, you got tickets. I didn't get tickets. It was the toughest ticket in town to get. I couldn't, at that time, I didn't have any freaking money. I was a struggling college student, and so I didn't get to go to that show. From then on, that somebody can correct me if they're wrong, if my history is wrong, but from then on, that's when we started to get things like in Canada, there was a thing called Concert Productions International, which kind of were the promoters of all the concerts. They started a thing called the CP Members Club, and you had to pay like $100, and that guaranteed you an early spot to get tickets. About $100 in 1974, when that was a lot of frickin' money, and it'd be like charging $1,000 today, and I couldn't do that. And then from there, gradually it became ticket agents and all that stuff. It just sucked. Okay, what have I got going here? I get rambling and I forget where I am. We're at number 18 now. Number 18, John Lennon. My second favorite John Lennon album, Walls and Bridges. Love this album. Steel and Glass is on here. Whatever Gets You Through the Night. Dream Number 9. Nobody Loves You When You're Down and Out. Whatever Gets You Through the Night with Elton John. Great frickin' Lennon album. 17, Rolling Stones. For those who think I don't like the Rolling Stones because I'm not interested in Hackneyed Diamonds. And by the way, I've never said Hackneyed Diamonds is a crappy album. I just don't want it. That's all. I just don't want it. So it's enough. It's Only Rock and Roll. Great Stones album. Fantastic. Stones 74, 75. I don't know how many times I saw them at that time. I don't know if the tour was 74 or 75 when Ron Wood first joined them. This album is Mick Taylor. But after that, this is Mick Taylor's last album with the Stones, I think. But If You Can't Rock Me, their cover of Ain't Too Proud to Beg, It's Only Rock and Roll, Time Waits for No One's a great song, Luxury, this is a great album. It's Only Rock and Roll, Stones Rock. Number 16, I'm going to sneeze right in the middle of my video. just once. Last time it was a three-banger. Um, Larry's going to be mad at me because this isn't ranked higher. Yes, Relayer, great Yes album. I wasn't a Yes fan back in the 70s. It was many years later before I got into them. Now one of my favorite bands. Relayer's a great frickin' album. I mean, so many great tracks on here. What a great cover, too. Great label. I'm trying to think of what my favorite song would be on this album. Probably... Oh, The Gates of Delirium. Most definitely. Side 1. Yes, Relayer. Okay. What the heck? I think that's... Number 16. I need somebody sitting beside me here. I should have written down the list. Number 16. I love this frickin' album. It could have been in my top 10. No problem. Jorma Kaukonen from Jefferson Airplane. Great guitar player. Great acoustic guitar player. Great blues player. Just a great guitar player. He released this album called Qua. I've never known how to pronounce it. This is a great... If you like acoustic music and you like acoustic guitar, you need this album in your collection. It's fantastic. It came on this crazy vinyl on Grunt label, the same as the Jefferson Airplane albums were at some point. And that's number 16 on my list. I got about 4 CDs in a row here. Number 15, Ron Wood. Speaking of Ron Wood and the Rolling Stones, Ron Wood released this solo album called I've Got My Own Album to Do. It's fantastic. If you like the Stones and you like the Faces, you'll love this frickin' album. And he's got so many guest stars on this. From Mick Jagger, George Harrison, Ian McLaughlin, Keith Richards. Who else? I guess that's about it. Great song. Great album. Ron Wood. I've got my own album to do. Next. This could be higher too. All these ones could be higher, man. The next ones are all just gems. They're all fantastic. Supertramp, Crime of the Century. Man, what a great album. I do not own this on vinyl. Shame on me. The ones that I'm showing you that I don't own vinyl, I'm just shaking my head going, why not? Like, they got to be on my bucket list. Crime of the Century, one of the best sounding albums ever. Just a classic. Crime of the Century. Supertramp needs no discussion, really. My favorite ELO album is next on the list at number 14, I think. And it would be El Dorado. And I can't get it out of my head. Just a great, great record this is. El Dorado. This was digitally remastered with previously unreleased bonus tracks. Another one I don't have on vinyl. Shame on me. Next, one of my favorite bands of all time, King Crimson. Not my favorite King Crimson album, although there are some great tracks on this. This would not rank in my top maybe 8 King Crimson albums. Starless and Bible Black. I love the title of the album. The song Starless, which is on another album, and mentions the term Starless and Baby Black. Lament is on here. Fractures on here, one of the most intense, incredible guitar tracks ever. King Crimson, Starless and Bible Black. Hold on for a second. We hit the top 10. It's all vinyl. Next. This man was very instrumental. I always say there's like 4 things that got me playing a banjo. One was Led Zeppelin's Gallows Pole. 2 was the Eagles' Desperado album. 3 is John Hartford. And 4 is the David Bromberg Band and a gentleman who was in that band by the name of Dick Faggy. who played banjo, guitar, everything. David Bromberg had a 7-piece band called the David Bromberg Band that used to come to Toronto, and I would freaking crawl through broken glass to go see these guys. What an amazing band they were. David Bromberg's great. You might know the name. Well, he was a great session musician. Played a lot with Dylan on some of the sessions right around the self-portrait time. But Bromberg's just a great musician on his own. And this is maybe my favorite David Bromberg album, Wanted Dead or Alive. What a great freaking cover that is. I mean, just, it's traditional music mixed in with blues and whatever else. He played everything. So eclectic. He recorded on the Columbia label. And again, always funny covers and great record. I love this album. I am the proud owner of David Bromberg autograph. He autographed a Elma Combo little table piece for me that I've kept all these years. And I had a chance to talk to him a couple times, and just a great guy. And Bromberg, one of the all-time greats. Number 9, David Bowie, Diamond Dogs. I was a David Bowie fan back then. I was not a David Bowie obsessive fanatic like I am now, but I did love this album, Diamond Dogs. This one rocks. I think it's a great frickin' record on RCA. The song Diamond Dogs is great. Oh, isn't this weird? Side B and side A, rock and roll with me. Huh, I never noticed this before. Look at that. Side B, side B, same label. Isn't that crazy? Is that a collector's item? Let me know. I'll sell it to you for $1,000. Next, number 8. Beautiful record. Jackson Browne's Late for the Sky. I must have played this album out when I first got it. I think lyrically one of the strongest albums ever released. Definitely not my favorite Jackson Browne album. It's probably ranked second behind For Every Man. But this is just a beautiful record, and David Lindley's playing on this is fantastic. Late for the Sky, if you've never heard this album, check it out. It's absolutely gorgeous. Great record. Jackson Browne, what a master lyricist he was. And he had such great musicians playing with him. I mean, it's incredible. Number 7 on my list, the Doobie Brothers, What Were Once Vices Are Now Habits. I've always loved this album. And I'm recently discovering how wonderfully these albums were recorded. They sound fantastic. And this one has Black Water on it. And just absolute great record. One of my favorites. Number 6, Tom Waits, Heart of Saturday Night. Like I said, I just discovered Tom Waits with Old 55 on the Eagles album. Didn't buy a Tom Waits album until the live album came out, Nighthawks at the Diner. And then after I heard that, it was like, oh yeah, we got to get some Tom Waits. So Heart of Saturday Night, probably my second or third favorite Tom Waits song, I would think. Great album this is. Man, yeah, Tom's fantastic. Okay, I got 5 more. The top 5. King Crimson makes another appearance. Now this is a frickin' masterpiece. Red. Oh, what an album. John Wetton, Bill Bruford, Robert Fripp. It does not get better than that trio. This is a frickin' amazing record. Just rocks hard, man. It has the song Red on it. Fallen Angel, great song. One More Red Nightmare, and the song Starless that I was talking to you about is just the most beautiful track on the planet. Great lyrics, great song, great guitar work. John Wetton's vocals on this are incredible. Bruford's one of the great giants of drums, and Robert Fripp, one of the most inventive guitar players ever. Red is just a freaking monster of an album. Number 4, Frank Zappa, Apostrophe. This is probably my number 2 Zappa album behind Hot Rats, but at the time this was number 1. It's always, from the day it came out, I've loved it. It's a great, great record. Man, just, oh. Discreet Label, Don't Eat the Yellow Snow, and Nanook Rubs It is on here. Cosmic Debris is on here. The song Apostrophe, which was a kind of jammy instrumental piece with Zappa, Jack Bruce. Stinkfoot's on here. I mean, this is a freaking monster of a record, too. Number 3, top 3 are all tied for number 1. I had a really hard time with this. I switched them around. All 3, like I said, are number 1 tied. It's a 3-way tie. Neil Young's On the Beach, my favorite Neil Young album. I just love this. My favorite Neil Young song is For the Turnstiles. And this album is so good. A lot of Toronto references on this. They mentioned the Riverboat, where he used to play at Yorkville Village. Riverboat was rocking in the rain. He mentions Isabella, which is a street in downtown Toronto. There's a few references. And this is a frickin' great, great record. Neil Young made so many great records. And this is my favorite. Number 1. Another number 1. Ry Cooder, Paradise and Lunch. Oh, man. This album. Man, I should make a list of the albums that I've played the most in my life, and this would definitely be in the top 10. I mean, just, this just speaks to me, this record. I love the playing on it. I love the songs on it. It's just a great, great album. Wow. Unbelievable. The other number 1, Gene Clark, No Other. I don't know why I didn't discover this album back in the day, but once I did find out about it and played it, and went, oh my God, a masterpiece of an album, just magic. It just works. I always compare it to Astro Weeks, not musically, but just it has an ambiance. It has a feeling that goes through the whole album. It just flows. It's absolutely beautiful, lyrically, musically, vocally. It's just an unbelievable album. Gene Clark's No Other. That's my top 24 for 24 that are turning 50. Everyone have a great day. We will be back with many more videos. Live chat tonight at 8 p.m. Please join us, and we'll talk soon.